Hey mates, welcome to the Craft of the Draft podcast. I'm your host, Phoenix Trinidad. Usually it is Mitch Keating, but we do have Jonty Ralphsmith, thankfully. I'm a bit out of my depth, but what have we got on today's episode, mate?
Yeah, plenty. So power rankings dropped last week, first day of every month, as we know. So we'll go through some of the talking points there. The combine list dropped during the week as well. We've got plenty of weekend highlights too, and who have been the players who have announced themselves through the middle of the Coates League season while the private school boys have been away. Stay tuned to find out.
All right, so this is Jonty's area of expertise. I'm over at the Hit Out. If you've seen the Hit Out on our YouTube channel before, big week. You should check that out as well. Simon Goodwin just got sacked, so I'll be talking about that on the channel. So stay tuned for that. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Let's get into the episode. Alrighty, Jonty. Well, let's get into it. Yep. You ready to do some heavy lifting?
Let's do it.
All right. So first thing on the rundown, we have the acclaimed Power Rankings. Craft of the Draft Power Rankings come out every month. Lots of feedback as always. First thing off the rank, a new number one.
First time we've changed the number one all year. Yeah, Willem Dersma. So he goes to number one, shoots himself up following a stellar under-18s national championships for Vic Country. I think he's answered the questions that did exist about him early in the season. His contested ball winning really impressive. We've seen the versatility. When he was unleashed through the midfield, he was ultra impressive and probably played his best game there for Vic Country. Then he goes to VFL level, plays off halfback. His intercepting is really, really good, as we've seen at the national champs and at Gippsland power level. And then on the weekend, admittedly after the power rankings were released, he probably proved why he did deserve that number one spot with a legacy game, really. 26 disposals, 10 tackles, 4 marks. I think he showed all elements of his skill set, and yeah, he's a beautifully balanced player. So he goes to number one. Cooper Duff Tytler falls from number one, but he's still had a pretty good championships as well, and is, I think, clearly still the best tall in it and remains right around the mark.
Yeah, that's also how it goes. You name someone, they're going to prove you wrong. So that order is starting to crystallize post champs. So, But that top 5 is quite tight, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Like I said, Cooper Duff Tytler could quite easily have been number one, and I agonised for a long time between probably everyone in the top 5 about exactly what that order would be. As I see it, there's a clear top 5 being Zeke Euland, who I put at number 5, despite there being a lot of people that would say he's probably 1 or 2, just because our power rankings combine form and potential, and Zeke Euland's only played the 2 games this year. So while there is a great anticipation of what he could become at AFL level, just because we haven't seen that form meant that when it's so tight, I ended up putting him at 5. Dan Annabelle's shown what he can do at VFL level. He's had 25 plus disposals each of the last 2 weeks after a brilliant national championships for the Allies. Dylan Patterson's the real wild card that I think will go a fair bit higher than people expect, and he's well and truly ensconced in that top 5, as well as Cooper Duff Tytler and Willem Dersma, as I touched on. Dyson Sharp a little bit lower. I know a lot of people would have him in that top 5, top 6 mix as well, though.
Yeah. So Ollie Greaves, higher than consensus. Sharp, lower than consensus. Yep. Those big-bodied midfielders. I would love to see. Do you just do this by yourself, like the meeting with you having yourself to name all these players and put them in the order? Yeah. Another one though, Harry Dean, a big mover.
Yeah, Harry Dean has been a big mover, and yeah, I guess in terms of how you go about it, it's a combination of the notes from watching the games across the period of the past month. You have a look at your last power rankings, your last couple of power rankings, and then you chat to people about what the word is in the industry as well, and try and get a little bit of a lowdown. So it's probably a little bit of a combination of what you're seeing and what you're hearing as well. But yeah, the Ollie Greaves for me is higher than consensus. You're right. A lot of people probably have him precipice of the 10, even just outside the top 10. Right. He did win the Vic Metro MVP though. And I think for Vic Metro, he did show what he was able to do. And while the game is moving away, I think, from the big-bodied midfielders and towards speed and power and that outside run and dash, speed's that commodity you want in the modern game. Ollie Greaves isn't just your natural big-bodied midfielder. He's able to provide that speed, that overlap run as well. So that's why I think that he should still be considered around that sort of 5 to 10 range, because he does have that nice balance, and Sharp probably has that skill set that you were looking for 4 or 5 years ago a little bit more, which is why I've got him a little bit lower, the consensus. But yeah, Harry Dean, he's the big mover, isn't he? He was, in the teens last month, but really he hasn't put a foot wrong playing for Vic Country. And yeah, he moves up to number 8 and he's clearly the best key defender in it. And with Carlton potentially losing Jack Silvani. We've seen Harry O'Farrell go down with an ACL injury, heartbreakingly, on the weekend as well. Maybe he gets some early games for the Blues next year, the son of Peter Dean, who was a Blues legend. But having a chat to Vic Country coach Brett McLennan, he said he got better with every game that he played at the National Champs, which is unbelievable because I think he was third best on ground in his first game, and he just kept hiring the standard for himself. He's got it all.
Yeah, be convenient for Carlton to lose that family name and then add in another one.
That's true.
Just replace him. But another one to move up, Sam Cumming has come up to 9.
He has, yeah. So the South Australian, it's been an interesting year for Sam Cumming. So he didn't necessarily put together massive statement national championships. He still made the All-Australian team. And I think across the course of the year is what he's proved, which has got him in top 10 calculations, is that he's got the attributes that you want that transfer really well to the next level. He just hasn't maybe had that statement 35 disposal, 2 goal game that makes you sit up and go, yeah, wow. But yeah, he's got the power. He's been likened to an Isaac Heaney a little bit. He can play midfield, he can play forward, and he's shown those attributes consistently enough. And I think he's someone who's worth taking a punt on. And although the output could be a little bit more consistent, I think it's pretty compelling, the traits that he's got.
Yep. Lockie Doberson, higher than consensus at 13, I believe.
Yeah, he is. Small forward, and I think in a small forward or in a crop where I think there's such a gap between Lockie Doverston and the next best small forward. So there's others that have announced themselves, like Taylor Byrne, Zane Pike are probably in there as well, and Hudson Walker. But the gap between Lockie Doverston and those 3 or 4 is quite great. So I think that could push him up a little bit. Like you look at basic supply and demand. If there's a great demand for something and there's little supply, then there's naturally going to be a lot of clubs that are going to be wrestling to get that player. But the consistency he's had, not just at Vic Metro level, but also at Coates League level, has been ultra impressive. Like you can basically put him down for 2 or 3 goals a game at minimum, and 3 or 4 tackles at minimum as well, playing that small forward role where by and large, you do generally get 3 or 4 games here or there that you are a little bit quieter throughout the year because, the ball isn't falling away. It's a tough position to be as consistent as he's been. The fact that he has been as consistent is a great testament to him, and a little bit of Nick Watson 2.0, given he's from the same club as well.
Yep. Love it. Consistency is key, but I do also love someone that makes a late charge. So Allies MVP Lockie Carmichael has made his first appearance.
Yeah, he has. So number 24 in the rankings. He was quite unlucky to miss out on the last rankings, to be honest. But yeah, I think he's a really interesting one. He offers so much run, so much dash, and so much class as well. Had a really good chat to him last week. So keep your eye on zerohanger.com.au for that feature story to come out very, very soon. He's really adapted to that, small defenders role really well, and it was good to see him get the midfield minutes at the national championships level and prove what he can do around the contest. He's grown up playing midfield, and I think we saw how good he can be in that position at the national championships. He's been pigeonholed to some degree as a small defender in the talent pathway, but his form off half-back earned him the midfield minutes, and I think the consistency he showed for the Allies mean he'll be pretty hard to overlook in the first round of the national draft. Now he defends, he attacks, he runs, and he's got power.
Yep. And another good story making an appearance for the first time after an injury-thwarted season, Yvonne Filippo.
Right? You have got that right. So Mateus Filippo's brother, St Kilda's Mateus Filippo, so a South Australian, and he's one who could go a fair bit higher than people expect. It wouldn't surprise me to see him push onto the fringe of the top 10. He missed the entire national championships for South Australia, which is a real shame because they went undefeated, and with the quality of team they had, you sort of think he would have been a player that would have been able to really show his strengths. Unfortunately, he didn't get the chance to do so. But what he's shown at Samful under-18s level really consistently has been that outside class, and there's probably a little bit of a lack of that sort of player to some degree in this draft class in some ways. given how much the game is starting to favour those sorts of players. So yeah, he's one to watch for and could be a real wild card in the middle of the first round, if not a little bit higher, given he's got that sort of outside class, but is able to win his own footy as well.
Yep. And another one in the Suns Academy is Kody Cochran making his first appearance.
Yeah, he is. So number 26, I think I put him at. And yeah, you know what you're going to get from Kody Cochran. It's 100% effort, 100% of the time. So yeah, he made the under 18s All-Australian team last week rather, and was really, really good at champs. Didn't put a foot wrong. And yeah, he's classy. He's a contested ball. He's powerful. And yeah, I think the interesting thing for the Suns will be how they try and manufacture getting all of the academy talent that they've got this year. They've got 2 players that should attract bids in the top 5 with Zeke Ewland and Dylan Patterson. I think you're going to see clubs are going to be willing to actually make them accountable, and there won't be that lag that there often is with those academy kids and father-sons where a bid isn't put on. Because okay, if the Suns do match a bid for Ewland and Patterson, as we expect they would, then make them make a decision. You know, maybe they're not able to get Jai Murray, maybe they're not able to get Kody Cochran, some of these kids later in the first round, or they have to get really creative, and it becomes a little bit difficult for them. So it'll be really interesting to see. They're going to make their first finals appearance this year, and these academy kids are just going to make them even stronger. And yeah, Kody Cochran's absolutely one of those, and he's got the adaptability to not only play in the midfield as he's done at junior level, but yeah, we're seeing him in the VFL in recent weeks play as that pressure small forward, because he does bring that effort and intensity that really suits any line, particularly up forward.
Yeah, they're building at that Suns Academy. That's 4 in the top 30, I believe. So
4 in the top 30, yeah. Bo Adensall as well.
Yep, love it. And last one I have on this list, Sam Swadling.
Yeah, he's 29 or 30. I think I put him 30 in the end. Yeah, it was tough between him and Fred Rodriguez, his Western Australian teammate, for who deserves to get that last spot. In the end, I did just favour Sam Swadling. Fred Rodriguez right around the mark, and he's probably fallen out of vogue to some degree a little bit, because I think there's a perception he had a slightly quieter national champs, but he still won the Western Australian MVP. So yeah, I have liked what I've seen from Fred Rodriguez. Having said that, yeah, Sam Swadling, really consistent as well, and he's also gotten some opportunities out west in the last couple of weeks to show what he can do in the waffle, and has been really, really impressive. So yeah, he's got great ball winning ability and can win clearance as well, and he's quite balanced.
Exciting stuff. So who is on the precipice of making the power rankings?
Yeah, so that's always the difficulty, isn't it? Like there's always like 37, 38, and then you narrow it into 30. So yeah, there's probably a couple of players, or there are a couple of players who have been staples and have been in every single ranking so far, but weren't in this one. And those 2 players are Tom McGuan, the Collingwood father-son prospect, and Liam Heatherton. So Tom McGuan, he was not getting the midfield time at the national championships. He was playing out on the wing, and probably, I wouldn't say he was quieter, but probably didn't get to show his attributes as consistently as some others. So when it came to the crunch, he was one that I just left out, but I still think that if a bid didn't come till, towards the end of the first round, Collingwood getting an absolute bargain with Tom McGuan, because he's going to be a really, really good player. And then, Liam Heatherton's going to be that bargain forward who just slips because some others have emerged. But, he was tracking to be every bit a top 20 player, and then got injured earlier in the year. And we haven't seen him since, and we're unlikely to see him for the rest of the year, unfortunately. So that's the reason that probably had to hold on him. And as I said, it's a combination of form and potential. If you looked at just potential, he's clearly in this top 30. You look at form, he hasn't played, unfortunately, due to injury. So that pushes him out. And then a couple of others as well. Taj Murray, a key position player that can play any line, and showed what he could do in that first game for the Allies. Probably wasn't as consistent as he would have liked to have been, but he's certainly right around the mark. Max Kondojanis, as a defender from Oakley, is another one. And then Hugo Mukunda and Kai Fincher right around the mark too. Hugo Mukunda from Geelong is a forward midfielder who's really powerful and really quick. And then Kai Fincher is a St Kilda Next Generation Academy defender.
Yep. All right. That is excellent work there, Jonty. I'll let you take a breath for a moment. You do a lot of work here, but a question without notice. So in terms of this power rankings for this month, are we starting to settle here, or was this harder to pick than, say, previous months?
Yes, I think the answer is yes to both questions. I think it was harder to pick because post-champs, you start to get a really good idea of where players sit. We know the national championships play an integral role in where players end up falling at the end of the year. And now that those games have taken place, you'll obviously see a little bit of movement towards the back end of the season. Finals can be important. Who can stand up in the big games to try and progress as far as possible in finals? And if they get VFL opportunities as well, that can be important. But yeah, the order's definitely starting to crystallize. And yeah, there was more movement than usual with this power rankings, but I think it's certainly starting to settle. It was quite difficult to settle on this order, and I think Charlie, our graphics guy, will be able to attest to that actually, Phoenix, because I sent him a few little adjustments on the day of the power rankings getting released. And it was very hard to release, but yeah, we're certainly starting to settle, and looking forward to seeing who can announce themselves in the back end of the season.
Yep, absolutely. Excellent work there on the power rankings as always. All right. So next thing on the rundown, the combine list has been announced. So before we get into that, do you just want to give a quick rundown on what the combine is and how it works?
Yeah, it's interesting. So how much weight does the combine hold is the question. So obviously the athletic testing that takes place at the end of the year, club interviews as well. So 20-meter sprint. So you've got your vertical leap as well. You've got your 2-kilometer time trial, and then you've also got your agility testing. So it's interesting. You have some players who test really well, but then you don't necessarily see that speed and power on the footy field. And then you get the players who are really speedy or able to run out games really well, but their 2K time trials might not be as good. So how much weight does the combine hold? I think it's really important, probably more so this year than previous years, because there are some players who have sort of come from nowhere a little bit. And we will touch on who those are, some of those names a little bit later in the podcast. But for players who there isn't as much data on, they've sort of emerged later onto the scene, being able to know exactly what their numbers are and how their data stacks up compared to some others is really important. But I think for players who have played 1 to 2 years at minimum, if not more in the talent pathway, clubs already have a pretty good idea from an athletic point of view what they offer on the field. And, if they don't test as well, then that can be attributed to many things. And it isn't necessarily the be all and end all that it used to be. But there's certainly players who have limited exposure and will therefore want to test well. And we will touch on them in a second. But before that, probably worth just touching on a few of the talking points about the combine.
Yep, absolutely. So unlucky to miss national.
Yeah, there was probably, I reckon there's 3 here that were unlucky to miss national. So Toby Byrne, Western Australian, who has been in really good form in the Waffle Colts competition, averaging 30 plus disposals a game easily. Just had acquired a national championships, but Freo Next Generation Academy prospect. Tom McGuan, really unlucky to miss. I think he's consensually seen in that top 50 vein pretty comfortably. And then Kai Fincher as well. Now, the pattern there is that all of those 3 players are club tied. Yep. So we've got Toby Wan tied to Freo, as we said, Kai Fincher, part of the Saints Next Generation Academy, and Tom McGuan, the Collingwood father-son. So the 3 players who I see as being clearly the most unlucky to miss national are all club tied. So whether that's played into clubs thinking when they've gone to do their nominations, no one knows, but it is a clear pattern.
Yeah, so again, not the be-all and end-all, but also there was Hunter Wright, who was unlucky to miss state.
I thought so. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he's been in really good form for Bendigo. Unfortunately, he's probably just had a quiet 8 to 10 weeks just as a result of injury more so than anything, which meant he didn't get to show what he was able to do at the National Combine. But I expect he'll be one of many that will push themselves up, because we know the state combine list does get extended as the year extends. So there will be another 20 or so names that will be added to that state combine list. And I expect Hunter Wright will be one of those. Brady Atkins, another one who could be considered unlucky from Gippsland as well. Job Scappen too. So yeah, there's a few names that are probably a little bit unlucky to miss from a state combine point of view.
Speaking of names, we have a famous one of 2 mature ages, Latrell S Picket.
Yeah, so Ty Hayes was the other mature ager from Southport. So good to see some mature agers get an opportunity. But Latrell S Picket from South Australia, he Yeah, a little bit of a dark horse in this draft race, to be honest. I think I was first made aware of his name when I was doing some call-arounds ahead of the mid-season draft as a potential bolter. Unfortunately, he didn't qualify for the mid-season draft because you need to have played a certain number of state league games in the first half of the season or nominated for last year's draft, which he hadn't done. But yeah, he's certainly someone to watch. He's got that excitement about him. We know he's got the bloodlines as well. And yeah, from South Australia, from remote South Australia, he started to really show what he could do, and I would not be surprised at all to see him get picked up. And yeah, state combine invite, I think that'll be a good opportunity rather for Latrell to show the glittering athleticism that he's got in his arsenal.
Yeah, we'd love to see the agility test on that one.
Yes.
So, and then as always, some good stories here in terms of injured players that are going to get a chance at the combine. So I'll let you list some of these off, starting with Sam Allen.
Yeah, so Sam Allen missed the national champs with an ACL, but yeah, it's always good with the injured players out of sight a little bit, not getting as much talk, but yeah, certainly not out of mind for some of these AFL clubs. So yeah, Sam Allen can play wing, can play inside midfield from Oakley. Felix Knipe has missed the last 12 weeks or so, including the national champs, but he's a really good prospect from Calder, a hard-running half-back midfielder. Harley Barker did his ACL, but I think he's pretty commonly seen in the top 20 now on talent with what he can do on the wing from South Australia. Liam Heatherton, the key forward we talked about earlier. Yevon Philippou from South Australia. Jai Murray, the Gold Coast Academy prospect. Zeke Euland, the top 5 prospect. Ben Rongdit's done his ACL from the Geelong Falcons. Tom Matthews and Cooper Ramsey all either getting national or state combine invites despite injury. So yeah, it is good to see them get that opportunity. Tom Matthews, a small forward, and Cooper Ramsey, a ruck from Western Australia.
Yep. Love it. All right. So when is the combine again?
Yeah, October 5 to 7, I believe. So yeah, always,
you're heading down there.
Yeah, we'll be down there.
Get a good look in.
Yep, get a good look in, and yeah, always good to see who's able to test well.
Yeah, it is a good day. I've actually been down to quite a few from a previous life at my old role at Rookie Me, and
they run a good show.
Time. Yeah, it is. They run a tight ship there, and it's always fun to see a little bit of the whispers that go around when somebody nails a vertical or somebody has a really good 20-meter sprint. So that should be fun. And good luck to everybody there. So next thing on the rundown, we have some schoolboys that are set to return for the next round of the CTL. So who's emerged through the middle of the part of the Coates League season while they've been away? I'm going to list off some names here for you. So first one, Sullivan Roby.
Yeah, so Sullivan Roby, Rowville senior player, wasn't on Eastern Rangers list before the season started. He was knocked back from not only the Eastern Rangers, but also from the Dandenong Stingrays as well. He went to Rowville, played really good senior footy there. They couldn't overlook him anymore, the Eastern Rangers. 192 centimetres of speed and power. He showed what he could do in the forward line through the middle of the season. Got the opportunity as well to run through the midfield. And I think his first quarter in the midfield, he won 3 centre clearances. So, yeah, a really good player. That speedy forward mid hybrid that is so sought after in the modern game. And I think he's one to really watch in the back end of this season. Got the combine invite, and it wouldn't surprise me to see him feature on the lips of recruiters.
Love that. Next one, Marcus Krasnodemskis.
Yeah, also from the Eastern Rangers, and also was not on their list to start the season. So they've uncovered a couple of players, the Eastern Rangers. He was playing Berwick under-19s to start the season, but the big thing that happened with him this year is he went from prioritising basketball to prioritising footy. So we talked about him 6 to 7 weeks ago on the show as just a wild card to watch, and he's really proven why. So almost represented Australia's under-19s at basketball. Since he's translated to footy, what's been really impressive is clearly that athleticism and poise that all basketballers bring across, but also his competitiveness as well. He's a 202 centimetre ruck, and he uses it really, really well, and he's got the ability to get involved not only on stoppage, but also on the spread. So yeah, I really like what he could become, and it's probably hard to see. It's probably, he's gonna go very close to getting drafted, I think.
Yeah, exciting. I love the basketball talent that comes through. So next, 2 Oscars. We'll start with Oscar Taylor.
Oscar Taylor, another one from the Eastern Rangers. So they've been really good through the middle of the season. Daring halfback, takes the game on, left footer, creative, and has a lot about him. So if you want someone with a good kick and you want someone who takes the game on and is speedy, then Oscar Taylor could be your man.
Yep. And Oscar Ainsworth as well.
Oscar Ainsworth. So, yeah, Western Jets boy. He got added to the Vic Metro squad midway through the carnival. He played 2 of their 4 games, the last 2 games. And, yeah, he's got that really good ability to win one-on-one marking contests. He's really strong. He's a medium forward. He's dangerous at ground level as well. And he's got a knack of not only scoring goals, but also setting up goals. Feels like every time he gets the ball in the forward 70 metres of the ground, the Western Jets score. So, yeah, he's been really impressive.
Yep. And next down, Finn Davis.
Finn Davis, not too dissimilar to Oscar Taylor. Oscar Taylor probably has that run and carry a little bit more. Finn Davis relies more on that ball use and the meters gained through his kicking penetration. But yeah, he certainly offers a lot off halfback as well. And yeah, racks up a lot of the footy. He's a good overlap runner. And yeah, he's got that power too. I wouldn't be surprised to see him play a large part in the Western Jets back end of the season. And hopefully he can continue to push his name up into lights. Another one with a combine invite. All these boys have either got state or national combine invites, which just sort of underlines how they've announced themselves through the middle of the season.
Yep. And Avery Thomas as well.
Avery Thomas, a national combine invite for the Tasmanians. So yeah, he played for the Allies through the middle of the year. He played 3 games after being a late addition to the squad. For the Allies, an athletic defender who's been really, really impressive, sort of a third tall intercepting type of player. He's got a really good leap and has good skills as well. But yeah, he's got a bit of X factor about him. So one to watch for the Devils.
Yep.
I'll just run through some other names as well. Probably those 6 that we touch on are probably the main ones. But Luke Cheffers, I think Gippsland are going to go pretty far, and he's a big part of it. A tackling machine as a half-forward midfielder. Sasha Levine, the Sandringham Dragons are really high on what he could become, sort of in the mould of Cooper Lord and Luke Kennedy in the last couple of years, who've been drafted to North Melbourne and the Western Bulldogs respectively. Mm-hmm. And then Taj Robinson and Ollie Watt, a couple of players from Calder to watch out for. Taj Robinson, a tall goal kicker, and Ollie Watt, a small forward.
Yep. Some names to keep an eye out for there. Excited to see what they're going to do. So, weekend highlights, one of the favourite segments on this show. So, we'll start with Dougie Cochran, sorry.
Yeah, he's staked his claims to be the number 1 pick for next year on the weekend. He made his Samful senior debut Phoenix as a 16-year-old who's eligible for the 2026 draft. And he kicked 4 goals in the first half. 196 centimetres of pure class. He can go through the midfield as well. But those highlights are absolutely worth your time. So yeah, spend that time to go and find them, go dig them up and watch them, because yeah, pure X factor, and yeah, absolutely love what he projects as.
I love that. I love a good senior debut. So as well, Sam Grill cooking on a VFL debut.
Yeah, well, 8 disposals he had in the first quarter and 3 tackles. So he looks like he was in for a massive day. Finished with maybe modest-ish numbers in the end of 18 disposals. But yeah, his kicking efficiency and aggression that he showed was a real feature. So I think what we've always known him as is that outside, smooth-moving player who's really clean and disposes of it really well. But what he showed on VFL debut was that he's got that hard edge about him, and he really likes that rough and tumble, that physicality as well, and he's certainly up to that from a physical standpoint. He laid a crunching tackle on Zeke Ulan, the top 5 prospect, got him holding the ball, and yeah, there were a few moments like that really caught people's attention. So yeah, good to see what he was able to do in a trip up north for Richmond VFL against the Suns.
Yep. Love it. Jake Miller backing up some strong form as the leading 2027 key forward as well.
Yeah, he did. 3 goals he kicked. So, yeah, 3 goals. What was more impressive for me was the 13 marks, of which 6 were contested. So, 1.5 contested marks per quarter for a player who is 195 centimetres and is playing against players 2 years older than him. So, he's going to be a serious talent in 2027. So, watch out for him. I've already had people say to me that you can lock in that he's going to go to Tassie, because we know Tassie are going to have a lot of picks in that first round.
Yep.
And yeah, I think he's someone who will go quite early. He's openly available, so he's not tied to a club, which is positive. But yeah, on debut, I was at his debut. He kicked the 4 goals, was ultra impressive. He's backed it up with 3 goals on the weekend, and in between that, he played for Vic Metro's under-16s, captained them, and was part of the All-Australian team. So yeah, a real player to watch, and a great character as well. Top tier in terms of his sort of work ethic and attitude from all reports.
Yep. And down in Bendigo, so Max Thompson impressing off halfback, which is all of a sudden become the most important position in footy.
Well, it's interesting, yeah, because he he is a small forward by trade, and that's what we saw him being able to do at the under-16s champs a couple of weeks ago up on the Gold Coast, playing for Vic Country. He kicked the 10 goals, including a bag of 5 in one of the games, and just looks so natural in that forward position. But in order to fit into Bendigo's lineup, obviously they have to prioritise their older kids over their younger kids. He got the opportunity off half back and looked really comfortable there too. 26 disposals, uses it really well. So good. It rounds off his skill set really well. The versatility is really important. And it just adds another weapon to his arsenal. But if Bendigo win a final or two this year, I think he could be a key reason behind it.
Yep. And a breakout game from Blake Newton down in Murray.
Yeah, 5 goals, 2, speedy small forward. He's really smart, really crafty, bottom major, someone to watch out for. They only kicked the 6 goals, Murray. So yeah, it was a big loss, or not a big loss for them. It was a 4-goal loss, a lowish scoring game. But yeah, he kicked 5 out of their 6 goals.
Yep.
Every time it went inside 50, it looked dangerous.
Yep, good signs. And someone playing their first game of 2025. Tell me about Darcy Harrington.
Darcy Harrington is a player I have been very, very high on for quite a while. Out of the Geelong Falcons, he played 3 or 4 games last year as a bottom major. Stress fractures have interrupted his start to the year. But played his first game on the weekend, 16 disposals, and just showed glimpses of what he could be. Didn't actually represent Vic Country last year as a 16-year-old, but I think there was a lot of people that were perhaps surprised about that, given what he had shown. Went back to local footy, plied his trade, played for Geelong last year. Really impressive. He's clean, he's skillful, he's quick, and he's a very, very clever footballer as well, and he's got that versatility about him. So I think next year he'll feature in Geelong's midfield, but at the moment, just plying his trade on the outside, and he's a good player, Darcy Harrington. So just a player to watch going into next year.
Love it. All right, some great weekend highlights there. So looking ahead, what do we have coming up this weekend? We have an under-17s representative game.
Yeah, so next week's podcast will be focused on giving the down low on everything that happens at the under-17s representative games. We know that on AFL Grand Final Day, a few hours before the first bounce of the footy, we have an under-17s futures game. So before that, we have Vic Metro play against New South Wales ACT and Vic Country play against Queensland, and that helps to decide who gets to play in that on AFL Grand Final Day in that under-17s All-Stars game, and that takes place this weekend. So looking forward to that. Some of the names to watch: Marlon Eocleus, Kody Templeton, Will Malady, Archie Butler, Lucas Robinson, Dougie Cochran, and plenty more. But we'll give you a lowdown on who has impressed and who to watch out for next year in a big episode next week, focusing on the 2026 talent. So make sure you stay tuned for that, and stay tuned to Zero Hanger for all your AFL content and Craft of the Draft for all your draft content. Thanks for tuning in today, and have a good week.
Love it.